The PlayStation Priority Picks is done for the month of February. Wait, already? It's only the 4th. Yes, I am done. Everything has been obtained for the Disney titles, even Hercules. So without further ado, let's dive in! I'm going to jump on those deals whenever I see them. And I was able to procure Hercules for 2 reasons, which I'll get into in just a second, which I was very excited to know I have all the Disney titles for my collection. Woo! Hell yeah! What an accomplishment. So, first one, Atlantis. Now, Atlantis is one I've always been curious about to play. I don't remember ever watching this movie. I don't remember it at all. I mean, I may have, but I don't freaking know if I did or not. I have no idea. Anyway, you can see a little bit of creasing on the actual manual here, but it's okay. Condition's not really something I'm too worried about. As long as the game plays, that's the point. That's the thing that mainly matters, is because I play all this stuff. If you all remember, I play on actual hardware whenever I stream, so that's very important that it plays. And the outside condition don't really matter. Disc is what matters. And this one I didn't pay too much for. I want to say I paid about $25 for this one, if my noggin's working right. The last time I saw it, it was going for about $40 at Gaming Co. And hell to the no. Not paying no $40 for this, so hell no. Now, there is one on here that I did not get from eBay. Most of these actually came from eBay. Y'all know that's going to happen because of the fact that as my collection grows, I'm going to have to look to eBay, especially for the rare titles, because 9 times out of 10, the store's not going to have them. And I'm not going to drive, a few hours here or there just to, go look every damn weekend, because that's a lot of damn driving I got to do. So hell to the no. I'll go to the computer and do it that way. Now, whenever it came to Hercules, so this is the one I said I probably wasn't going to get, but I did. And like I said, there were 2 reasons why. Number one is I was under budget. So whenever I get games every month, you all know me, I've said this many times over and over again until my butt is literally raw. I budget for what I get for my video games, especially my PlayStation collection, because going for a full set is a huge undertaking. So I had a budget for all these games set, and if I was under that, I'm like, okay, if I can find it for a decent price, which is going to go into reason number 2, I'll get it. So I was under budget. There's number 1. And I got it for a decent price, which is number 2! And I'm very happy with this one because the reason why, the packaging that the person did was phenomenal. Normally when someone sends me something, through the mail, it's typically in a bubble mailer, and that's it. They slip it in and they're good to go. And that's all fine and good, I kind of like the extra bubble wrap in there and then in the bubble mailer because it protects the jewel case. You all know me with my history, especially with Lukey games. With the jewel cases. I don't want to get into a rant about that because I'll be here forever. So whenever they sent this to me, it was in a small box. It was bubble wrapped to the 9s, and this is in immaculate shape. So it was probably, for the start of 2025, it is definitely one of the best purchases I've made for my PlayStation 1 collection from the Bay. Yes, I call it the Bay because literally Pirates of the Bay, you never know who the hell you're going to deal with. You might hear me reference that a time or two whenever I talk about stuff. Now, this game typically goes for about $50, $60, $70 all day long across the board, depending on who's selling it, because, people are greedy assholes on the interwebs and they want to make that money. This one I was able to get under price, and I was very excited. I think I paid about $35 total for this, so that's a hell of a deal that they threw me. I was very happy to do that, so hell yeah. So I've got the most expensive Disney game. I'm pretty sure this is the most expensive one out there that's floating around. I could be wrong, I don't know, but that's the most expensive one I had to get this time. Now, this one I have seen before at Gaming Co. yet again. Yes, I've seen this stuff, some stuff I've seen at Gaming Co. Like I mentioned, Atlantis, and then, of course, Aladdin. Now, whenever it comes to certain titles at retro stores, some things can be more expensive, some things are right on par, and some things are really cheap. So typically, whenever I go game hunting, I normally try to get stuff I normally don't see, or stuff that's really cheap. And Aladdin, I'm like, it's there. It's been there for a while. I just didn't pick it up because they wanted, I think $40 for it. I don't remember. And again, coming through, did not pay that. This one was probably about $20. I want to stay around $20, pretty sure. I'm not including shipping whenever I'm including these totals. I'm just including the total of the game. Shipping typically is about $5 to $6, depending on who it is, because like I said, everyone, I don't know why they have different shipping across the board. They just do. I don't know how that works. I have no clue. Anyway, I'm not mathing the math with that one. My noggin don't want to take it. It's in great shape. Looks good. There was actually a little thing that I took off here. All these have already been cleaned. They're ready to be shelved, and they've already been cataloged, so that's the last thing I got to do. So I just want to show y'all before I do that, so that way I can be like, I can put them on the shelf. And I'm running out of shelf space, so I got to buy another shelf soon. I've literally got one more slot left unless I start sacking, and I'm not going to do that because these are fragile. Anyway, great shape. It had a little thing over here. You know how whenever you tear off the thing, that whenever it's sealed, it had a little bit of that left. I just took it off. No, it wasn't sealed. Don't worry. I'm not going to buy a sealed game. Oh, hell no. Not for these. I'm not. It's too expensive for that shit. Anyway, now there is a game floating around that I need. I think it's called Rascal Racers. And that one is not, this is just off topic for a second. That one is kind of elusive. It's not one of those games that you see very often. It's not rare, but it's just not one that you see too often that pops up. Yeah, there's even some common games like that that do not float around very often. So that one I've only seen sealed, so that one might have to be one I buy like that, which is kind of annoying because guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open that damn thing because I'm gonna play it, and I think it's sitting at like around 225 the last time I looked. That is freaking insane for that, but it's just not floating around there. I've not seen one, you know, for sale that's been, you know, open. It's always just been sealed with that one. I'm pretty sure that's the one I'm thinking of. Now, moving on to Donald Duck going quackers. This story, this one is funny. So this is the second attempt at getting this one. This is the second one that I ordered. So the first order that I got was from the Bay, of course. And so naturally, I'm like, oh yay, I got a hell of a deal on it. It was 20 bucks. I'm like, hell yeah. No, 22, excuse me, $22. Okay, great. That's fine. I'll pay it. So, paid it. And, you know, everything was good to go. Well, guess what? It was never mailed out to me. I got, you know, the order was canceled. I'm like, why is my order canceled? What happened? Well, apparently the person had emailed me, sent me a message on eBay because apparently you can do that. They're like, oh, hey, I had a lot of stuff that I was selling on Facebook and I didn't realize that that game was in that lot and I forgot that I had it listed on here. So I had to cancel your order. Sorry. I'm like, dude, okay, fine. That's fine. It was a great deal. I was kind of annoyed because I'm like literally trying to get these games for a decent deal. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find those, but I got lucky with these. Hopefully I will next month too, knock on wood, whenever I start my journey with that. But, so I'm like, okay, I gotta look for another one. Well, I was lucky that another one popped up for less than what I paid. This one was $20. So $2 less, so hell yeah, and it's in great shape. But I do want to say this goes for any sellers out there. If you got something listed and if you have it in a lot somewhere else, delist it because that's just annoying for us buyers because we're excited, we buy, and then, oopsie, cancel. I'm like, and then we have to go through the painstaking process of trying to find another damn one that literally, you know, might not be as good of a deal. So don't do that. Try to get your priorities straight whenever you're selling shit, especially if you're trying to do it, you know, as your business. That's definitely not a good business practice to have one thing up and then forget what the hell you got. Take my advice on that. Moving on to apparently one of people's favorite Disney titles ever. I've never played this, so I don't know what it's like, and that's Toy Story 2. It's in really good shape. Now, this is the one that did not come from eBay. I paid 20 bucks for it. It's in great shape. I was really happy to get it, so I'll definitely be playing it at some point. Now, some of these I have actually played. The ones I've already talked about, I have not gotten to yet, so there's that. I will actually play them whenever I do. You know, I may do a review on them. They may hit, you know, the actual series that I'm doing. I play it so you don't have to. Who the hell knows when they're going to show up? Well, one game did show up in that series, and that would be The Lion King, Simba's Mighty Adventure. Mighty, my ass. Mighty big pain in the ass is more what I like to call it. Now, this game, I've already did a segment on that. I play it so you don't have to. I literally talk about the game in depth. I talk about the mechanics and everything else. This one is not as hard. It's the one on Super Nintendo. I was able to beat this one, but it still has its segments to where it's hard as shit. But I still managed to go through it. I think I paid $15 for this, so hell of a deal. I think it normally goes for about $25. So, yeah, there we go. Hell yeah. Now, I've actually beaten this one too. Did not do a review on this one. I'll talk about it briefly. That's Goofy's Funhouse for PlayStation 1. So this one was actually really fun. You're basically in a house and you're going through and you're doing little mini games. You're trying to find little parts to photos and you pop them in so that way you can play the mini games. I think there's about 5 mini games in total. And you can also watch little mini cartoons in this. I'm talking like the older cartoons with Goofy in it, like how to play golf, how to, fish, how to whatever. They're so freaking cool. I don't remember a lot of them, but there was one that I remember watching whenever I was younger. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that. I thought it was so neat to actually go through and play this. It was definitely a fun one. You can get this one for about $15, $15 $20. So this is one I would recommend checking out if you want something easy and light and fun to play, with mini games. Why not? The one part about this that I did not like, that I always suck at, and I've always mentioned this, is the golf. There's 9, of course, holes that you got to do, and man, it took me forever to fucking do that, but I was able to get through it. But I suck at golf games, I'm not gonna lie. Now, the last one that I picked up was the only one without a manual. I don't know I still have no idea why this game is so expensive right now. It is literally nuts. It does not go for this price charting. It has it listed as something else. So I looked everywhere to try to find a deal on this, and I wasn't able to. So I'm like, okay, it's either A, I'm going to have to get it loose and get a reproduction case, which I have, I have reproduction cases in my collection because I have stuff loose. Because if y'all remember, there was an elusive binder I bought about 2 years ago that was filled to the brim with all kinds of great stuff. I'm talking Xenogears, another copy of Legend Dragoon. There's just specific titles that I had that were loose, and I actually bought reproduction cases for, like those two, for example. Now, this one I bought without the manual because it was just cheaper to do it with, and it's going for like $70, $80 complete unboxed. I have no idea why. It's not, I don't know if it's just because it was a later release. I think this was released in 2001, so toward the end of the life of the PlayStation 1. I could be totally wrong as to why, if that's the case, but I don't know. I don't know if there was a limited release run or not. I'm definitely going to be doing more research on this, and I'll let you know as to why it's so expensive when it's complete unboxed. I didn't see too many listings for it, but I've seen more listings for it loose than I did with it complete unboxed. And this one had the case with it without the manual, and of course, you know me, I would rather have the original case and just deal without the manual. The only other time I've actually bought something like that would be Tamba 2. That was on Macari a few years ago because my original copy, if y'all know, some of y'all don't know the story, so I'll give you a brief scenario of that. Half my collection was pawned off by an ex of mine. I don't want to go into it. That was many years ago, and I've had to rebuild since then. And there's still some titles I don't have anymore, like Rule of Rose is one, for example, and I'm not paying no $800 for that shit. Who the fuck would? Not me. No. I would rather get it for, like, if I ever got Rule of Rose, I think the most I would pay would be $500. That's it. And that's still a lot of money. I think the most I've spent on a game, like, for PS2 would probably be Shattered Memories. Silent Hill Shattered Memories for PS2, and I paid $350 at Retro Rick's store for that. But the copy, you just don't see it for PS2. You really don't. You normally see it for like the Wii, and I think it's also on PSP as well, which, funny enough, I got it for the Wii a few months later for $5 at a pawn shop. That was just crazy. Yeah, I did. And that pawn shop's no longer here. I can't go thrifting nowhere but Goodwill. Goodwill's a hit and miss here. Sometimes I get lucky, sometimes I don't. But the copy I got of Shattered Memories was mint, and I was like, man, I'm going to get that. And I have all of the Silent Hills for PS2, which is great. That's what I was wanting. I wanted them on PlayStation 2 because I'm the PlayStation girl. That's where I would rather have them. But I got off on a tangent. Sorry, I like Silent Hill a lot. Silent Hill is definitely better than Resident Evil 2 to me anymore. I said it. I may have to do, conversation on that at another point. Anyway, moving on. The game I'm talking about is Toy Story Racer for PlayStation 1. This game, I have not finished it yet. I'm in the process of playing it. I didn't realize how long it would be. So basically, you're playing as different people. You play as Bo Peep, you play as Buzz, Woody, and you play as like the RC Racer. I think there's only just 4 people that you play as, and you have to get like so many army men to like get to the next level, and there's like each one has unlockable levels. Yes, I'm talking all 4 of them have unlockable levels. You have to get so many army men to reach those levels, and I'm like, holy crap. And some of these are really hard. Some of these courses are brutal. I'm telling you, they literally are glutton for punishment up your ass whenever you're playing this game. But it's still fun. I still want to play more of it. I still want to finish it because I bought it. You gotta pay to play, baby. That's the way I Woo! But yeah, it's still in really good shape. The only thing is, it has like a little bit of a crack back there. There's a little bit of a crack up the front if you can't tell, but that's okay with me. And the disc is in really good shape. The case is in pretty good shape too. Maybe one day I'll come across the manual by itself. I doubt it though, because half the time you don't see that very often. People's like, oh, you'll find the manual. Dude, do you know how often that happens? Most of the time whenever you see manuals and cases, it's mainly for stuff that's more common. So that's one thing that I want to stipulate whenever it comes to collecting like this. If you're looking for a case and manual by itself, you're better off just getting a reproduction case at that point. Now to start the hunt for March. Now, I have a set list of games that I'm looking for. Now, this is not as exciting as Disney. I wanted to start with Disney because I have a love for Disney titles, especially on PlayStation 1, because a lot of them are janky as hell and not very good, but some titles have surprised me, so definitely be on the lookout for more discussion on some of the ones that I may want to highlight. Even the shitty ones can have their fun moments too. So, going on to what I'm looking for March. I have a list. It's mainly sports titles because there's still filler that I need to get for sports stuff. So that's what we're going to be focusing on for March. But there's a lot more this time than there was last time. So let's get into it. So, games for March. To start off with, let's start with hockey. Now, the most expensive one on this one is going to be Open Ice 2-on-2 Challenge. Now, that game, I don't know why that one's... Again, I don't know why some of these games are freaking expensive, especially for a sports title. What the everlasting fuck? Have no clue, but I'll eventually get... I know I can get a copy of it. So, I know that Gaming Co. I think has it for $40, unless they sold it. I'm pretty sure they do. That's actually a really good deal. I think it normally goes for about like $80. That's going to be one of the more expensive titles I'm looking for right now. So, hopefully they still have it. If not, I guess I'm browsing the bay again. I don't know. So, next up, if I'm looking down at my list. So, if you see me doing this, I'm looking down because I'm going to be like... Now, to the other stuff for hockey. We have NHL Blades of Steel 2000. I don't know why the hell I haven't picked that up yet. I keep forgetting. I thought I had it, but whenever you're going through and you're putting down your list and stuff, you're like, oh, I already got that. Well, apparently I didn't. I do that a lot. It's like, I catalog stuff. I clean, I catalog, and I shelve. That's typically my process, but sometimes I forget to catalog stuff. So that wasn't the case in point this time, but it has happened before, and I have gotten doubles because of that. I had someone ask me, like, do you ever get doubles? Yes, I do, because there's so much stuff to keep up with, especially whenever I clean my cases. Yes, I do still clean cases whenever I get stuff from eBay, because a lot of the time, it's not very, clean, and it's got gunk on it. I'm like, ew, so I like to clean my stuff before I shelve it from eBay, at least. And moving on to NHL Power Play 98. I don't have that one either. I have Power Play 96, but not 98. And then, of course, Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey 98. Which I haven't seen that one, on any of the other places I go. Like DK's not had it. Lukey probably did at one point, but I'm not fucking shopping there. So, there's that. Now, let's move on to golf. Woo! Yeah, I mentioned golf earlier, how I fucking suck ass at swinging that long big ass pole. Golf stick. Golf club is not a stick. Anyway, Hot Shots Golf. Yeah, I don't have the first one. I only have the second one. I just haven't picked it up because, like I said, it's just slipped my mind about certain things. I've really been actively looking for some sports titles. I have actively been looking for. It was mainly like basketball, football, all that. But like hockey and golf kind of took a back seat. So here we go. And then, now this one is one I don't know if I'm going to get. You know how it was with Hercules? I said that if I could get it, I would. If not, oh well. Well, it's a long box. I think I actually have this already for the jewel case. So this is technically would be an extra. I do need to get all the long box games because my long box collection is slack-a-lack and I don't really get too many of those. There's 104, I believe, for PlayStation 1. I don't have all 104. I have way more jewel cases than I do long boxes. But this is just a double just in case. It's Tecmo World Golf. So I'll be on the lookout for that one. I think that one normally goes for over 100 and some bucks. I think. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. I haven't really checked up pricing on, most of this stuff yet. Most of the stuff is going to be pretty low tier whenever it comes to that. I think the most expensive ones are that one and then the 2-on-2 open challenge, for golf. For not golf, for hockey. Wrong big stick. Now, Moving on to, let's see. Oh yeah, and World Cup Golf. That's the other one that I gotta get for long box too. I don't have that one either. I almost forgot about that. Moving on to boxing. Boxing was one of the subsets that I was looking for whenever I was at Torg. And man, I don't know what it was about trying to find sports titles there. I really couldn't find any hardly. I mean, I found a few here and there. It was mainly just stuff I didn't really have. You know, I found like, you know, Pinobi, and I found like other things there too. Not Pinobi, I'm sorry. What the hell was that game that I found? Oh, Punky Skunk. I thought I found Pinobi there. I'm like, wait a minute, no, I didn't. Punky Skunk, for example. Titles like that I'm like, holy crap, like weird platformers. I feel way more of that than I did sports, but I guess sports stuff doesn't really sell well, and that's probably why they don't hold it too often. And if they do have it there, it's going to be in like a $5 bin, which I'm all about that bin hunting. I loved it. It was one of my favorite parts about Torg. Anyway, boxing, HBO boxing. Still need to pick that up. That one probably goes between $5 to $10 all day long. And then the one that, you know, is kind of like the more expensive boxing game would be Mike Tyson boxing. That one's probably going to cost me about $15 and $20. So, still need to get it. That's the only two I don't have. So, and then once I get them, that'll be good. And then moving on to the only bowling game that I need, and that's Bedrock Bowling. I've seen that for sale before. I'm like, I'll get it later. I really should have got it whenever I had a chance to. I picked up Animaniacs Bowling, which is actually a pretty fun game. Bedrock Bowling would definitely be up my alley because I used to like to watch the Flintstones whenever I was younger, so that would definitely be something I would probably enjoy playing. At least I think so. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. And then moving on to pool, which is the last subset that I'm going to be looking for the month. And I need American Pool and then Pool Hustler. That's it. After that, I'll have all the pool games. So like I said, way more than, you know, this month. Well, you know, technically it is this month. I got done early. I keep forgetting that. So way more for March than there was February. But, you know, I'm trying to, you know, fill out the collection a little bit more. I think there's still a few more basketball and football games that I don't have. But that's just something I put off. I wanted to just hit these. I thought that was a decent amount to look for, you know, and to keep my eyes peeled for things like that. Now, I think there may be some lots I might be able to get these things from. Now, the only thing with lots, and I've stipulated this many times, is that half the time there's stuff I already have, and I don't really like to get them anymore because of that. I don't like having doubles, especially sports stuff, because who the fuck am I, you know, who the hell's going to trade with me with a sports title? A lot of people don't typically collect those unless you like sports games or you're a big collector like myself. That's typically the only two reasons why people have sports titles in their collection. So that's why I avoid lots. But if it's like one game and I need two out of the three or whatever the hell, I'll pick it up and I'll hold on to it and do something with it, you know, as far as like trade it into a game store or hopefully find someone to trade with me, but I don't know. But that's all the time that I have for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Enjoyed seeing the pickups. Stay tuned for March. I'm going to go ahead and start the hunt for the PlayStation priority picks. And this is the PlayStation Girl signing out. Game on!